Today's a wonderful day. Tomorrow's gonna be a wonderful day too. Today, tomorrow, the day after that, they're all beautiful days too. Just look up and say thank you. Just look up and say thank you for the love, thank you for the grace, thank you for the hugs, thank you for the space, thank you for the joy, thank you for the peace, thank you for the good in all I see, thank you for the love. Like another, but that doesn't mean that we don't have each other. When we laugh, sing, dance, cry, we're all in this together. When we love, praise, cheer, smile, happy as can be. All we've got to say is God is in me. All we got to say is thank you for the love, thank you for the grace, thank you for the hugs, and thank you for the space, thank you for the joy, and thank you for the peace, thank you for the good in all I see, thank you for the love, thank you for the love.
Thank you. That was so great. You had a whole chorus of backup singers, front up singers. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. This is Grace in Nuremberg. A very talented singer-songwriter, guitarist, harmonica player, and all that human being. Thank you, Grace. You'll have more of him in a moment. He wrote a song just for today.
Right.
Welcome to everybody who's joining us live stream, whether you're watching today or anytime in the future. And I'm so excited because it's summer, unofficially. So we're going to kind of explore what that means with the last Sunday in May, when we are exploring the theme of the light within the shadows. And it's part of the theme for the year, which is living out loud. So next month is June, wow, and we have a whole new theme, and that's going to be about self-care. So we're going to dive deeper in that. Summer is perfect for that. I'm really grateful that Gail Belluardo is with us today. She's a licensed practitioner with us, and she's going to guide us through a spiritual practice. We're going to have some fun with that. We have something called Treatment Express, which is like a mini spiritual mind treatment. How many of you have ever experienced a session with a licensed practitioner? Yeah, most of you. It's kind of like that, except it's not a complete session. It's a quick spiritual mind treatment, and Gail is really good at that. She'll say, what do you want? And then you say what you want, and she just treats for you. So we're going to do that, and we're going to have fun with that. And most of you know, not all of you, but most of you know that Gail, every month now again, she does the healing circle every first Friday of the month. That is this Friday in this space. And her theme is, I can see clearly now. So you're going to want to join her, and that's going to be at 7 o'clock. So what I'm talking about today is about really looking at life as an opportunity for healing. I don't know about you, but I have at least 10 a day opportunities for healing. I mess up all the time. I'm very human, just like all of us, right? And so the whole idea is that how can we look at that in a different way? So that's why the topic is think kaleidoscopically. And as we explore that, the whole idea is to remember who and what we really are. And that when we do our own inner work, our healing work, our spiritual mind, our practices, our treatment work, healing happens. And I am absolutely sure, even though I don't know all of you the way you know yourselves, that all of you have experienced healing of some kind. I mean, anybody has grown here lately? Right? So we all experience that. So I'm not telling you anything new. It's just that we get to look at it differently all the time. So let's start with a namaste practice that we do here, which is where we put our hands together. And namaste means the divinity in me blesses the divinity in you. So you get to not only give, but you get to receive. So just turn to somebody and say namaste. And let's treat our words for affirmative prayer. So I invite you to close your eyes, because that's a way for us to physically turn from the outer world to that rich, juicy inner world that experiences all the ups and downs of life. I mean, wouldn't it be weird if we didn't? It's just a part of being in this incarnation. But today we remember more deeply than ever before that we are spiritual beings having a human experience and not the other way around. And so we allow our human experience to be in service to our spiritual evolution, our soul's evolution, so that our identity becomes more expanded in our essential nature, and the identity we have in the human experience begins to fall away. It is that which is ever changing. It is in our spirit that we are ever expanded in the fullness and the changelessness of life. And so today we make a deeper commitment to look at ourselves, each other, and the world in a kaleidoscopic way, which means that we're willing to look at it from a place of awe and wonder. How amazing we are as human beings. How amazing we are when it comes to our resilience and our overcoming of challenges. And we celebrate that, and we see it as graduations, little mini graduations for ourselves and for each other. So that demands and invokes and expresses a level of gratitude that just fills us with light, which then dissolves any darkness. And so it is. So it is. So, this is kind of a bittersweet weekend to me. Yeah, it's the unofficial beginning of summer, and I signed up for the local lake, Brookside Lake, because I get to be considered a resident as the spiritual director of Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. And I got a senior citizen discount. And we get to wear white. I didn't wear white, but we get to wear white. Isn't that a funny thing, right? You know, I purposely wear white in the winter so that I can be that rebellion that I tend to be. But at the same time, we are honoring and remembering something that is deeply tragic. For 162 years, because this started at the beginning of the Civil War in the late 1800s. Many soldiers who serve this country have been dying in war. Now, personally, I will never, ever, ever stop holding the vision of world peace. Peace in our land, peace in ourselves, peace in each other, peace between each other. Ever, ever. I will always hold that vision. But we've lost 1.2 million people since the beginning of the Civil War. That's about 7,400 people a year. Soldiers that have died in protecting us. Not to mention those who've been affected by those deaths. Anyone here? Yes. So it's kind of a mix, right? Yay, it's summer. Yay, I get to wear white. And oh my goodness, what is it that we are honoring and remembering? And so it's a reminder that we don't deny death, but we know it in a different way as science of mind people, as people on the spiritual path. And it's not that we make anyone wrong. It's just that we hold the space for the possibility of peace. That we hold the space of love for all those who suffer. And those who suffer in different ways. And so I think as human beings, we're all wounded. I don't know any human being that is not wounded. We all carry some kind of wound. What if that wound is not a punishment or something wrong with us, but it's the exact portal, the exact doorway to rise up and to be resilient and to express what's possible with the human spirit? Because I don't know about you, but I know people who have overcome horrible things and they have big smiles on their face and they thrive, which is inspiration for all of us. And some of those people are right here in this room, by the way. And so all of us have those experiences, right? So we're talking about the light within the shadow. The shadow is the part that we experience in our woundedness on the human journey. And they're portals to the light. So if we fight them and we make them wrong and we judge them and we torture ourselves with them, then we continue to experience more darkness instead of turning towards the light. Now, this week I did a huge piece of shadow work around a family issue that totally surprised me. And it so surprised me that my first thought, my first feeling was, I messed up. Oh my God, I'm a terrible person. The beauty was when I allowed myself to feel that, I didn't stay in it. You know, any of you ever experienced shadow work or shame where you just torture yourself for weeks on end? You know, what we learn when we practice this teaching is that we begin to notice that those weeks maybe become days. And those days maybe become hours, and those hours maybe become minutes. And in that moment that I realized that the work that I had done, and the treatment work that I had done, and the healing work that I had done, it didn't last. And I slipped into this place of self-love and having compassion for my humanness and realizing that love came to the surface. And I had these few hours where I felt blissed out. It was so unusual. But I knew that something big had shifted. And I know that many of you relate, right? So what if we begin to see our woundedness and the woundedness of anyone else as the opening to a greater light that wants to be shined upon us? Carl Sagan said, and this was in the blurb this week, the constant contact email that we send every week, it says the cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the universe to know itself. Let's personalize that. You can repeat after me. The cosmos is within me.
The cosmos is within me.
I am made of star stuff.
I am made of star stuff.
I am a way for the universe to know itself.
I am a way for the universe to know itself.
Okay, look how all of you are just rising up out of your seats with your arms wide open, floating out of here. Right? I mean, it's powerful, right? And so what we can notice when we read these kind of phrases is the little voice that says, yeah, in a pig's eye. That's not happening. Right? And so we work with that because it's so beautiful. Carl Sagan also said, we are made of stellar ash. We are made of stellar ash. Our origin and evolution have been tied to distant cosmic events. The exploration of the cosmos is a voyage of self-discovery. And that's what Ernest Holmes talks about, that the science of mind journey is a journey of self-discovery. This little thing that I found reminded me of a Joni Mitchell song. I'm a young hippie. I'm not going to say old hippie. I'm a young hippie, and I loved the music when I was growing up. And one of my favorite musicians was Joni Mitchell. I knew her entire album, Court and Spark, by heart before I spoke any English. And so the one song called Woodstock, what does she say? I won't sing it. She says, we are stardust. Billion-year-old carbon. We are golden, caught in the devil's bargain. And we've got to get ourselves back into the garden. And so, what is it, and you don't have to say this out loud, just think for a moment, what is it that you are overcoming at this time in your life? What gets in the way of your light? What do you struggle with when you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning? What is your mental chatter about how you aren't enough, you don't have enough, you don't do enough, or you don't do it good enough? Those are very important things to notice, because if we don't notice them and we don't heal them, they will always stay in the way. They will always block not only our health, but our good, our relationships, our careers, or however we serve the world. And so what we get to do is we get to remember to not stop in that torment, but to remember to begin to see through the eyes of light, the golden self, your true self, your essential self, your spirit, your soul, your higher self, the highest truth, whatever you want to call this. And that we do when we pay attention to our desires, to our deepest longings, to our intentions, that sometimes we have to repeat and reset 1,000 times a day. And all that is okay, as long as we keep working with it, because you and I are the light. We already are the light workers. We already have enough to thrive. We already do enough and do it good enough. We already have enough. We are all already worthy of profound celebration, no matter what has happened to you, no matter what is happening right now, no matter what is going in the world, no matter how many wars are happening in the world. We already are that light. It's the human ego that says, yeah, but not until. Not until. I mean, long lists we have, right? And so the remembrance then is to say, I am worthy of life celebration right now, not someday when and right here, not just when you're on vacation on a tropical island with a margarita in your hand, or whatever, after a surgery, or after I have money, or after I change my job, right now. And so that's why we do these things. That's why we come together. That's why we treat. That's why you come here. That's why you listen to fabulous YouTubes and recordings and music, so that you remember that you are magic. You are stardust. You are the cosmos individualized. You are pure love already. So whenever we think that we don't have enough love, we just have to go to that place of, oh wait, I forgot. Let me go to the truth, which is love is all there is. And how can I receive that, feel that, know that, remember that? And then we keep celebrating. We even celebrate our weaknesses and our flaws, because they are the portals through which the light comes. And we focus on the strengths that we have instead of our weaknesses. Have you ever noticed that sometimes we're obsessed focusing on a weakness within ourselves or somebody else, and we forget that the strengths are always more and bigger? Have you noticed that, right? I mean, there's this story where you put 100 people on a stage, and you tell all these 100 people how amazing they are, and then you say, but there's just one thing. There's just one thing that's not quite working for me. That's the one thing that we end up focusing on. And we forget sometimes all the beauty that we already are. I mean, you and I, we are amazing. We are so amazing. We are so resilient. I mean, you got up this morning. Do you know how many people can't get up this morning? They might not make it through the day. You ate something. You had food on the table, right? Or maybe you had a cup of coffee. You drove here, or somebody drove you, even better. Right? You're able to sit down and get up. There's so many amazing things to celebrate in every single day. We are so blessed. And we forget, because we focus on that one thing that we call not a blessing. And yet it is, because that's how what? The light gets in to heal us, yes. So in our journal this week, many of you have this little journal. In case you're not familiar with it, we don't have, well, you can still order them online at csl.org, but it's this theme, Living Out Loud. And the quote is from Marianne Williamson. It's often attributed to Nelson Mandela, but it's Marianne Williamson's poem from A Return to Love. She says, our deepest fear, and you've all heard this one probably, if not, yay! Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. So it's time for us to shine our lights in a bigger way. What if we just did? We just keep shining our lights. We just keep shining our lights, and every time we shine our light, that little voice that pops in, we know what to do, right? I mean, how many of you were ever told, who do you think you are? A few, right? You are light, you are stardust, you are amazing, you are beauty, you are grace, you are love already. You are powerful beyond measure. You are beautiful beyond measure, inside and out. You are a unique, individualized expression of the one. The world loves you and needs you, and God just shines its light upon you to share that. And so this requires that we just look at ourselves through different eyes. So what if we look at ourselves as if we were looking through a kaleidoscope? This is such a pretty one. I love this idea of thinking kaleidoscopically, because you know what I've discovered? That no matter what is happening in our lives, when we're struggling, we just need a kaleidoscopic shift, which is so small. And when we make it, it shows a whole new amazing picture. So we get to be in awe, and we get to be in wonder, and Gail is going to facilitate that. One of the things that I learned this week is the word scope, because there's a lot. Microscope, horoscope, telescope, periscope.
Scope now.
Scope out.
I have one, kaleidoscope.
Kaleidoscope, yes, and scope means to see. And isn't that cool? Because that's really the invitation that when we're struggling with anything, tiny or big, how can we see it in a different way, bringing in awe and wonder? A very dear friend of mine made a little pocket altar for me and sent it this week, which is about, I have a whole this creative idea of saving those little boxes that you get at the jewelry store and turning them into little travel altars. And there was a quote on there that I have never heard that just moved me so much. I have like written it 10 times and put it in different places. And it's from Albert Einstein, who knew? He said, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift. The rational mind is a faithful servant. The rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a world that honors the servant but has forgotten the gift. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind a faithful servant. We have created a world that honors the servant but has forgotten the gift. I many times say that we have forgotten that life is sacred. It's the same thing. So the invitation is for us to remember that our human nature is in service to our spirit, not so much the other way around, although it's a both and. So let's remember that our human journey is in service to spirit, which means all life, including our own spirit, our own soul, and that we're not here to live from that place of limited way of viewing life. We give it attention because it's the doorway to the greater light, right? But we give more life to the light and how it is serving us. And that means that we get to let go of judging our woundedness and judging anyone else's woundedness. And to remember how resilient we are and how strong we are and how powerful we are. And we get to remember that our essential nature is star stuff. It's been here forever and it's going to be here forever. Or I should say alive forever. And that's magic. And that's our superpower. So now we're going to have some music because Gracie wrote a song called Kaleidoscope. And then we will have Gail sharing her guidance practice. Yes, I didn't want to walk in front of you.
That's okay. I didn't want to walk in front of you.
Time for us to ditch the mundane ways we spend our days, going to the 9 to 5 and trying just to stay alive. Keep our head above the water, though your mind is getting smaller every time your point of view is not including something new. Thinking bigger than I ever have before. It's like I always dream of more, but something's in my way. Now it's time we start to wake up. Now it's time we start to make up. Now it's time for us to have good hope. Time to look into the kaleidoscope. The kaleidoscope of colors is brighter than the wheel. It goes in and it goes out however you feel. Twisting, turning all around the endless color stream. If you look through it with some love, you'll accomplish your dream. So now you're So now you know your superpower. You can make a minute into an hour. What will you do knowing your true powers exist inside of you? Use it for the good, see the colors of the wood, of the trees that help us breathe in. Will you help grow the flowers, put in the hours to see what we can do together? kaleidoscope of colors is brighter than the wheel. It goes and it goes out however you may feel. Twisting, turning all around the endless color stream. If you look through it with some love, you'll accomplish your dreams. The kaleidoscope of colors is brighter than the wheel. It goes in and it goes out, however you may feel. Twisting, turning all around the endless color stream. If you look through it with love, you'll accomplish all your dreams. Ooh.
Thank you so much, Grayson. Oh, awesome, awesome. The kaleidoscope of hope. Remember that, everybody. That's it. So now it's not only Reverend Frankie and I that get to have these, everybody gets to have one of these this morning. We are going to use it in our spiritual practice. I see people already testing it out. So this is a spiritual practice that is all about self-discovery. And as we know in our teaching, as within, so without. And so what we see out in the outer world is a reflection of what's within us. And we are using now the gift of our sense of sight in order to be able to make it real for us. Because as human beings, we're very attached to our five senses. If you can see it, taste it, touch it, feel it, hear it, then you know that it exists, right? Well, this is a way of using your human experience to tap in more to your divinity. And as we, and no playing around with them. There's a purpose for this. There's no fidgeting. So, and I'm noticing that because I wear glasses, my perspective is different this way than if I take them off, right? So sometimes we already have, our perspective is shifted by what we're wearing, seeing, and thinking. And as we continue with this, so just take a look at your kaleidoscope. Notice that it is actually a child's kaleidoscope. And what better to have to do this practice with than a child's, I want to say, innocence. You're doing it from a place of innocence where you know that there is magic possible. So I invite you to just take a deep breath. Just get grounded in your body. All right, release it all. And notice what you're thinking about right now. Just pay attention to it. And I invite you now to take your kaleidoscope and peer into it, right? And notice that there's some kind of a design, right? Mm-hmm. There's some kind of a design. There's some kind of a, I want to say, form or pattern, right? So pay attention then again to what you were just reflecting on. And how does it feel looking through the kaleidoscope with the thoughts that you've been having? Is there a feeling about it? Is there something you notice in particular? Is it more of a pinpoint kind of experience, or is it a little bit more of a spacious experience? So just notice that. And as you notice it, tune into your body and what you might be feeling. And I know mine does, so I don't know if everybody's does, but mine has stardust in it. There's shapes of stars, which is what Reverend Frankie was mentioning from the Joni Mitchell song. So take another deep breath and look into your kaleidoscope again and shift it just a little bit so that the form changes a little bit. And notice with the shift in what you're seeing, is there an inner shift happening in you? And if not, that's okay. And if there's a feeling about what you're noticing now, because this is a different form, maybe some of the colors are the same, maybe the colors are shifted, right? So it's a different experience. So now, I invite you to tune in to your breath. And as you breathe in, come into your heart space and close your eyes. So now we're not looking outward, we're looking inward. And in the heart space, I find often it's the easiest place to find our light, our inner light, which is the light of love. And so just tune into that experience of being in your heart with the light that is within your heart. And breathe into that light, that inner light that is within you. And notice, is there any different sensation in your body? Is there any sense of a feeling that's coming up or a thought? And now take one more breath. Open your eyes and look into your kaleidoscope again. And I invite you to just shift it a little bit. And in the form ahead of you, notice that the light within you is shining into that pattern. And it's a very simple shift when we change our perspective. I see some people are going around and around because we all like different perspectives. But this is really an opportunity to realize that this simple little practice is what we do whenever we shift our attention, whenever we shift our focus. And we do that a lot in our teaching. We do that because we know that there's always something better, always something greater, there's always more light, there's always more joy, there's always more love. And so take a nice deep breath. And if anyone feels moved to share one sentence about that experience was like. I see people looking at me now through the kaleidoscope. Somebody's got their two eyes in the two kaleidoscopes. So see, we can do lots of things with our perception, our focus, our attention, and we change our experience. And that's what we're here for. We're here to change experience. We're here to change and shift through our darkness, through whatever challenge we have, to shift it into the light. And then we form a new pattern of thinking. We form a new pattern of behavior. We form a new pattern of being in the world. And that's what this is about. Becoming more of who we really are, and the light, the inner diamond divinity within ourselves. So I want to thank you for going through this practice with me. And you're welcome to keep your kaleidoscope. And remember to keep shifting your perspective when it's really not working for you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, and these kaleidoscope, that whole bag has been sitting on my altar all week, and whenever I do my treatment work, they are infused with that. So besides using them as you go through your days, remember that they have within them some very powerful treatment work around healing, and just receive that. So we have some fun things happening. One of the things that I think we're all discovering is that what we long for the most is a sense of connection with one another. And we have some events coming up that are in person only. They're not online. Because I think more and more people want that, and there's already so much online, right? So next Sunday, I'm starting a book discussion and a book study It's going to be 5 Sundays. They're not all in a row, 3 in a row and then 2 in July. The flyers are over there, and they also go in the constant contact email, which has a spot to easily register if you're getting those emails. If you don't get those emails, be sure to sign up on the list. And if you're here for the first time, we are so grateful you're here with us. You get a free book, so be sure to pick up a free book. But The Untethered Soul is the book by Michael Singer. This is one of the most life-changing works that I have done in my own healing work. It's just very powerful. He has a new book out. There's 2 of them, Living Untethered Soul. And so we're going to just discuss that for like an hour and a half on Sundays. And then on June 17th, we're doing this wonderful fun and food event with Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey and Princeton, and with the Unity churches in the area. It's going to be at Vassar Park in Hackettstown, and you must register for this because it's being catered by a fabulous Italian restaurant. It's $20. Bring games, bring a chair, bring a blanket. We're going to have a lot of fun. And then, of course, we have Kat blessing us with the sound bath on July 17th, right, Kat? It's July 16th, which is a Sunday. And we're also in the planning stages again of doing the Brookside Wellness Fair. So if you would love to participate, we'd love to serve, we'd love to present, we're doing a whole vetting process, or we'd like to be a vendor, it's going to be on September 30th from 9 to 4, like last year in this room, and all the other rooms in the sanctuary next door and in their friendship hall, and we're going to have a really good time. So join us for that.
I have a question that might be helpful about the book discussion. Do you have to have pre-read the book?
No, you don't have to pre-read the book, but I would say make sure you have the book and that you read it. But if you haven't read it or you don't want to buy it, you can still join us, because I'll put you to work. Good question. So let's move into our sacred circulation, sacred service practice. I want you to place your hand on your heart. And I want you to bless yourself for your commitment to your own spirituality. So it's about what you do and what you have done instead of what you don't or haven't yet. To really celebrate how amazing you are, how far you've come. And then I want you to celebrate all the avenues through which this has happened. And I will trust that one of them is Center for Spiritual Living, Science of Mind Teaching. So just bless yourself for your commitment, for your showing up, for your participation, for your service, your volunteering, your donations, your treatments, your holding the highest, the connections, the friendships that you have made. Just feel yourself fill up on all that. And feel the gratitude, knowing that that gratitude has already spilled over in who we have been, who we are, and who we are becoming as a spiritual community. All of it is a glorious contribution. And now repeat after me. I am so grateful of all that I've given, of all that I give today, and of all that I shall give in the future. My presence, my love, my prayers, my volunteer work, my donations, and my deepest connection to life. And so it is. If any of you have a desire to give in any way and you're not sure how that is, just ask any of the Leadership Council members or the practitioner, Leadership Council member Fernando, and myself today. long-term members. And there's also a sheet in the back that will tell you how you can be a financial support. And now we're going to have, oh, no, I'll do this afterwards. Now we're going to have Gail bless us with a spiritual line treatment, and then Grayson will do another song, but we're going to turn the live stream off because it's not a copyright song.
So from this consciousness of gratitude so beautifully created by Reverend Frankie, I just take a breath. I take a breath into the greater breath, the universal breath, the breath that actually moves the kaleidoscope of life, God's breath. And I know right here and right now that God's presence has been with us, flowing through our entire service, inspiring, illuminating, comforting, healing, and revealing the truth about everyone participating or ever viewing the service. For I know that this one life is ever giving all that is necessary to each and every one, and that each one of us is on the receiving end of all of that good. All that healing, all that light, all that love, all that wisdom, all that truth, all that beauty, all that joy, all of it flows from God through us, and we reveal it as unique expressions of each one of those qualities. And so for our time together, I say thank you, Mother, Father, God, for the wisdom spoken, the wisdom felt, and the wisdom received and expressed throughout the service. I say thank you, Mother, Father, God. And with profound gratitude, I release this word into universal law, knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt, beyond any shadow of doubt, it is already now done. And so it is. So it is.